All right, so as we start right here, what we're going to talk about is when we need to write a function in exponential form where that we grow through decay, what is the formula we use? And the formula is pretty much all the same, okay? So y is equal to a1 plus r to the x, okay? And when we have decay, we're going to do the same thing. Instead of 1 plus, we're going to do 1 minus because that is decay, okay? So what happens is y is the current value, but a is the beginning amount. It's the initial amount. R is the rate. Typically that rate is generally in a percent form, and it has to be converted to a decimal. And finally, X is the number of time periods. It's going to be the number of time periods, okay? So the most important thing is if it's growth, we're going to do plus. If it's decay, we're going to do minus. Growth typically says that it increases. It may double. It may triple. Decay is going to be decrease and depreciate. Or it may be the most common one we're used to is half-life. Okay, so that's how we're going to work the problems. So first of all, how are you going to know whether you're going to need to use one of these exponential formulas? Well, if you're dealing with population, if you're dealing with percent, if you have fractions, a lot of times that's going to be exponential. It's not always. Okay, half-life, or a car depreciating. Okay, those are all going to be reasons that you're going to use this formula. So what we're going to do is we're always going to follow Q-tips on this. We're going to start out and we are going to make sure to underline the question, read and underline the question. So it says determine the amount of money to the nearest cent that will be left in the sports fund after 4 years. Then we're going to underline once we underline the question, we're going to circle all the numbers. We're going to make sure to find any plan words that we need. So this right here, this 30,000 is my initial amount. It is A. No more money will be placed into the fund. Each year it decreases. So that means it loses. That means it's going to be a minus, okay? 5%. That percent is so very important because that percent tells me I'm going to do exponential. Okay, so exponential, remember, takes this form. It's going to be y equals a, parentheses, 1 minus r to the t. The reason we're using minus is because it says decreases right here. Now, the initial amount is easy. That's $30,000. But it's going to be 1 minus r. R is the percent. We can't do 5% because 5% we have to move it 2 places, so 0.05 to t or to x, or whichever you want to call it, x or t there. But so that's going to be to the 4th. Now, once I've plugged in, notice my first number is 30,000. That's what I started with. This is a calculator problem. It's important that you pick up your calculator and you make sure that you get the same value as I do. Now, keeping in mind that this value is going to go down because it's decreasing. So once I put that in there with the parentheses, I raise it to the 4th, and I end up with this number here. Now, it tells me that it wants my answer to the nearest cent. So what I'm going to do is I know that's the hundredths place. So that's 2 decimal places. So right here's my number. And therefore, I need to go up instead of 18 cents. But because behind the 18 is bigger than 5, it's going to go up to 19 cents. So here's my number. That's my answer. It's $24,435.19. Well, that would make sense because I started at $30,000. Now I'm at $24,000. So that's going to be the amount I have left after 4 years. Okay, so now let's work on number 2. In problem number 2, we start out, we need to make sure that we follow Q-tips, so we're going to underline the question. So what is the expected population in 3 years? Now we notice that we've got a percent, so most likely we are going to be, because we have a percent, most likely we are going to be doing exponential growth or decay. Because of the word increasing, it's going to be growth. So I'm going to do y equals a 1 plus r. The last one was minus because it was decreasing, but now it's increasing, so I'll do 1 plus r. So a town has a population of 3,561. That's the amount. The population is increasing at a rate of 0.5 or 5.6%, but I have to move the decimal 2 places. So really my rate is 0.056 is my rate, okay? And my time is 3 years. So now I've labeled everything. I know my A, I know my R, and I know my time, my X, okay? So therefore I start out with 3,561, and I have 1 plus r. R is 0.056 because I've moved the decimal to from a percent to a decimal. And I know that it's raised to the third because that was the time in years, okay? Calculator problem, everybody plug this in. My number should get bigger than the original because it is increasing. Everybody plug it in. Double check, make sure you got everything plugged in properly. And my y value is then 4193.375. It wants to the nearest, if we're thinking about population, what is the expected population? It really doesn't tell us what to round it to. So if we round it to the nearest whole number, then my population is approximately 4,193 people. So my population started at 3,500 and now it's already up to 4,000 people. Why is that? Because it was increasing at 5% per year. Okay, so what you're going to do is try the rest of these. Once you work each one of these, making sure to show your work, use your calculator properly. Then the next thing we're going to do is we're going to watch a video on compound interest.